Let's bring in Neysun Mahboubi from the University of Pennsylvania, where he's a research scholar at the Center for Study of Contemporary China. Neysun, welcome to the program. So no deal.
Hi, Asieh.
Hello to you. No deal, no progress, not even small goodwill gestures. What do you make of it?
I think it's symbolic that they're still meeting. I think that is the one positive thing to take out of it. I think there are a lot of factors that we can get into in greater depth that point to this being a long, protracted journey ahead. But the fact that they're still talking, that they're meeting, in and of itself is something positive from even if just a purely symbolic perspective.
Symbolic, okay, I get that. But what about the urgency to try to at least make some kind of headway? That doesn't even seem to exist from the United States side or the Chinese side.
I don't think there is any urgency on either side. I think in both countries there are ways in which the protracted trade war of the past year or so has exacted some kind of economic pain, but I don't think it's enough on either side to force the issue to compel some urgency for reaching a deal. And there are other factors in both countries that actually point in the other direction. In the U.S., of course, the election is something that is clearly going to factor into President Trump's political calculations. And so I actually think that the urgency is not particularly sharp right now on either side.
And there are so many issues, Neysun, that are dividing the world's biggest economies. The U.S. wants China to buy more agricultural farm goods. China wants the United States to ease sanctions on Huawei. Then there are serious grievances on the U.S. part, where they've accused China of forced technology transfers, intellectual property theft, so many issues. What is, in your opinion, the biggest priority at this moment?
Well, I could speak to the U.S. side first. I think on the U.S. side, there is a growing consensus in Washington that's bipartisan, that reaches beyond President Trump or his administration, that it's important to get, quote unquote, tougher on China and to take a harder line against perceived Chinese infractions in the areas of forced technology transfer, in terms of state involvement in the Chinese economy, in terms of trade practices. So that is clearly a set of concerns on the U.S. side that go far beyond just what the Trump administration may be saying on any particular day. And the particular mechanism of tariffs that the Trump administration has been using is not one that necessarily everyone agrees is the most effective, but insofar as it seems to be eliciting some kind of reaction from the Chinese side, I think from a bipartisan perspective, everyone in this Washington consensus seems to be okay with going along with it for now.
So if the two sides meet again down the road, presumably in a month, what can we expect from now till then?
As of right now, it seems as if the markets, the global financial markets, are sort of pricing in that this is going to be a long, protracted struggle, that this negotiation is not going to be resolved anytime soon, but that it might be resolved at some point in the not too far distant future. As long as that's the case, as long as you see that the global financial markets might have a little bit of a dip after each of these meetings where nothing too much happens, but then they recover because they sort of feel like ultimately there's going to be a resolution, in that case, I wouldn't expect anything to happen anytime soon. The ball will keep getting kicked, perhaps even past the 2020 election, and then we'll have to see at that point if there will be some new urgency or some new political calculations on both sides towards a deal.
And very quickly, Neysun, which side do you think is feeling the pain of this economic war or trade war, if you will, more?
That's an interesting question. I think it's hard to make that comparative judgment. My sense is both sides are feeling it in particular ways. On the U.S. side, perhaps the pain is being felt most sharply by soybean farmers, but I think that's starting to creep into consumer prices. On the Chinese side, it's harder to see. It's a little bit more of an obscure sort of set of factors that are going on the Chinese side, but you do see that growth in China has slowed to the lowest levels since 1992. There are definitely going to be concerns on the Chinese side as well. But again, it seems as if on both sides, those types of issues are not enough yet to compel real urgency in reaching a deal.
Indeed. All right, we'll leave it there. Neysun Mahboubi, thank you so much.